We've gone to market and selected our preferred suppliers. We've met our sourcing objectives, and now we have outcomes to deliver.
You may want to get the contract signed quickly, but for proper governance and risk mitigation, you need to agree to the right terms and conditions, define key items in the schedule, and have this properly documented in writing. Contracts are not always simple, so it's good to remind yourself of the basics. A contract is an agreement between two or more parties that is enforceable by law. It specifies obligations and compensation that accrue to the parties. It provides a framework to manage change and resolves disputes. It defines and assigns risk between the parties to the contract. A lot of conflicts can be avoided by determining all of this up front. But even when you've covered all the basic components, a contract can still go wrong. Say, if you don't put in place actions and procedures for what happens when risks do arise. Shifting the responsibility onto the other party helps mitigate this damage, but this doesn't prevent or fix issues. If you don't align expectations between the parties, you'll be more focused on dealing with communication breakdowns than getting what you want right. And just leaving it for doomsday will get you into sticky situations. This costs you more than money. It also damages relationships and goodwill. If you understand your contractual requirements and rights and draw up standard terms and conditions to set the baseline for any supply agreement you may be looking to enter, you will be in a better position to focus on negotiating good commercial deals and starting out in the right direction with your suppliers.
When you select the type of contract to use, your two key considerations are complexity and risk. Purchase orders, or POs, stipulate the type of goods or services, quantity and price. Blanket orders are used for multiple deliveries over a period of time. Discrete or standalone contracts are one-off contracts for specific work. They're not intended to be changed, but may be varied by agreement due to scope changes. A master services or framework agreement is between parties that govern future transactions. A supply agreement uses a single supplier. A panel agreement uses a selection of preferred suppliers. And finally, joint ventures are partnering arrangements which contain elements of risk and benefit sharing.
So there's not one standard contract suitable for all purposes, but most will include three major parts. The formal instrument of agreement is the signing pages and execution area of the contract. Not everyone can sign. Usually this will depend on authority levels in an organization and may even be linked to the value of the contract. Terms and conditions outline the definitions and clauses, forming the legal basis of the contract. These are generally the specifics of how the businesses will trade and all of the main pressure points, things like liability, indemnity, and payment terms. Dispute resolution procedures should also be included here. Schedules cover all the details that need to be considered: the scope, the specifications, performance and service levels, pricing and reviews, that kind of thing. These items tend to change, so make sure you write in how this process will work, especially price reviews. Remember, all three parts are legally binding, not just the T&Cs. Now, it's not uncommon to have negotiated, agreed, and then still need to get final legal review for approval. So just when and how should you get lawyers involved?
Good practice is to have a standard agreement that is used for sourcing activities and in negotiations. So do work with legal representatives prior to engaging the market and always seek legal advice whenever you need it. But don't necessarily involve the lawyers in the negotiation room. Use your influencing and relationship skills to get the best commercial deal. Keep in mind that procurement takes the hit if there is a problem with the commercials of the contract, since legal will only have signed off on the legalities of the terms and conditions.
So don't assume legal review is all that you need to do to get a contract right. A contract is important for proper governance, but it's more than just a signature of agreement on a piece of paper. It should be written to protect you from risks, but don't assume it will always prevent issues from arising or be the instant fix to any problems that do happen.